Okay, so I was tell me what you guys think, what you need, what you want. I have my sense of what I wanted to do today, but um I one of my things is like how come um doing all my processes in the morning and I'll tell you how I do it, but one of the things is like I wonder why God takes such a long time for some things. And yet when I look back over the time, it's like, well, I am getting everything I want. So but it's like but some of the things are just moving slowly or slower than I want. So I'd love to hear what you guys need and want. And what I was thinking of doing was doing the full process. We got plenty of time this morning doing the full process that I use. And if you guys have another part that you do, I'd love to hear it. And I'll show you where I you guys have seen this one page already, but I'll show it again. And then that's my thoughts for today. But let me know what you guys want and need, and we'll do that. Let me just I'll show you where I did this one once. Here's that. I'll put it in the chat, this link. And these are the peace process and the Marma process and all the other stuff. The what's it called? RBS, the Christian Michelson business success thing. And this is the one I'm thinking of doing today, process 5. And this is the healing points with the little finger point things. This is the super light touch Logan basic techniques. This is the strain counter strain for all the organs. And here's our resource page for this group. Here's Qigong that I use. Here's some more resources. Here's when I was coming up with all the stuff that we use. I made some videos with all the components that I'm using. So I've got all this stuff for us. Here's if you want to share the once a month group and our atomic group. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. But how does that sound for you guys? Or what would you like today? Or should we just go with that?
Yes, I would like to go with that, and it's the same like yesterday. Breathing issues. I'm just working on this.
The lungs?
Yeah, the lungs. I don't know if it's already the heart also. So I'm on my way again to this spring water, whatever, to this place.
Oh,
yeah, but somehow the train is late, almost an hour. I don't know, but I'm on my way. I'm on my way.
It sounds great. How do you like that spa place?
It's like, okay, it's like 155 meters long. There you can walk through this salty air, and it's quite challenging to get there. But I decided, no, I'm going, if not every day, then every second day. Because the other thing is like just take cortisone spray for your lungs, but I don't see any result in this. It's just making the whole thing worse.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's put your lungs and physical healing on the clipboard.
Hey, Ralph.
Yeah.
I just have a question before you get to Kati. I got, you know that guy Yoel who was, he just texted me on WhatsApp about this morning. So I sent him the link again. I don't know if you were giving him another link or not, but I mean, I don't know if he joined up, but.
He did. He joined us for a month. So I don't know. Let me go look at the email and just see if he, let me just make sure he's got the link. I mean, he should have the link. I've given it to him numerous times. It's like, so, you can only do your best.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't.
Who knows? Let me go see. I'll go just send him a thing.
He said, can I tell you he doesn't have the link?
My goodness. Okay. Isn't that funny? I don't understand. Hang on.
Yeah, I emailed it too. Because we were talking about matrix energetics, I sent him a a transcript of a recording of a talk that Richard Bartlett did.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
We did the Sunday session was a tribute to Richard Bartlett. Jeffrey thought of it. I was also thinking of it ahead of time, and Kate, Katerina, we were all thinking
yeah.
about it, and we thought, yeah, that's the right thing to do. And
Sorry to miss that. Sounds fun.
it was fun. And so and it was really powerful. It feels it's like and yet I'll talk about that first. Because one of the things one of the main things I have for us and for me is I just want results. Like, you know, Jen and I talked about this for years when we used to go to the coffee shops in San Diego and we'd read all these books on enlightenment and Adyashanti and Eckhart Tolle and all these things and Jed McKenna, which I don't recommend at all. And 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 we thought, you know, I'm not interested in enlightenment. I don't care if I get enlightened or awakened or whatever that is. Um, I'm going to be dead at some point pretty soon, and then I'll get enlightened. You know, then you know the truth. It's like if that's the thing, if you get to see the whole thing, or if you are really everything that as they talk about, it's like yeah, for me, it's like I want a good life right now. I'm like, who cares about enlightenment? So at least for me, but that's but it seems like part of my path is to use some of these spiritual means, and it is my interest. Yet I find with taking matrix energetics all these years, you can tell me what your experience has been, but every time I used matrix energetics, something big happened. You know, people's physical body changed, money things changed, relationship things changed, but not, it wasn't predictable, and it wasn't a clear line, like do this, get this. It was like pop into the universe of all possibilities and then pop back into this current one and or a current one, and it'll be a different one, a parallel universe. You'll get some surprises, some cool stuff will happen. But then over the years of taking so many matrix energetics classes and using it, I kept seeing people that were just broke, just freaking broke, you know, no money. And some people that still just had really severe physical things, yet other people that had really amazing miracle things happen with their health, with their money, with their life. And so it was like, wow, it's like they say, the electron cloud of possibilities around an atom, and it's all just a bunch of possibilities. And then you pop into the matrix energetics, and you pop into the whatever that is, the all where electrons go when they're not here. And then when you pop back in and you look at the current reality, it's different. Yet I kept seeing people that still had serious money problems, serious health problems. It's like, so I'm like, okay. So then I went, after 2 years of just matrix energetics, I was like, okay, this and you know, my story, it's like a lot of stuff went really bad from a physical standpoint. I lost my health, I lost my money, I lost didn't lose my family, but good Lord, it's like, what the heck? And so and so Jen is not a fan of matrix energetics. She said it's the one method you've used, Ralph, that every method I've used of learning more and more stuff with this rule set, that it's got to make a difference. When I test things, I do something, and then I got to see a difference. Like, are they healthier? Did things get better? Did life get better? And as I was testing this, and I saw matrix energetics have a lot of miracles, and like when I was using peace process with the Christian Michelson stuff for those entrepreneurs, and a lot of them made a lot more money as they cleared this inner stuff that was in the way of them feeling self-worth and crushing imposter syndrome and all that kind of stuff, getting rid of anxiety. A lot of them made a lot of money, and some didn't. And so so I'm going along, and I'm like it's got to make a difference. And so then Christian Michelson had that whole framework of how to make things happen, basically, to go get what you want in life. And then Dr. Narum has his version, and I've been using all these versions, and it's kind of going, and it is going. And so for myself, I'm getting what I want, and yet there's some things that are still like golly, when is it going to happen? And so that's been my experience. And then this morning, as I was doing my meditation, I thought of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and you know, he didn't want to do what he's doing right now. I'll give you his story because we're on an unrestricted thing. I can talk. You know, we're censored here in the United States, where we could lose our YouTube channel just by what we say. So, but we're not on YouTube. And Fathom says that I can say anything I want. So I emailed them and said, hey, you're going to censor me? And they said, no. So we can talk. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr., if you don't know that story, you know, he's had a lot of, the Kennedys, they've had a lot of crazy stuff happen in their life. Some stuff it's not good, some stuff that's amazing. A lot of assassinations in that family. And he was a lawyer. He is a lawyer. And his big thing was environmental law. So he was determined to get mercury out of the water in the United States because he wanted to be able to fish and fish with his grandkids and catch fish and eat fish. And the fish that you caught in the Hudson River, if you could find fish in the Hudson River, were so toxic. It had high levels of heavy metals, mercury, cadmium, lead, all those things. So he sued the pants off of all these companies. He went around and just sued them like crazy. The Hudson River used to be a dead river, and he sued all the companies that were polluting that river, and the river came back, and now it's got fish again. So he's sitting there being the environmental lawyer, the darling of the liberal left for suing the big guys and cleaning up the waterways. And he had these women that kept coming around, and they were dressed very nicely, and they presented themselves very well, and they had the exact same story. And the story was their babies were beautiful, thriving, progressing, going through all the milestones, talking, and they took the vaccines, and then within an hour, within a few days, they lost it all, and they lost their language, they lost their eye contact, they lost their ability to control their bowels, and they became autistic.
And you're talking about the COVID vaccine?
No, I'm talking about the MMR.
Or any vaccine.
The MMR vaccine.
Okay.
And then he heard the same story from the DPT vaccine, diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus. And he kept hearing all these women. He would go to present things about environmental law to get the waterways cleaned up in the United States. And he was doing it. One of the rivers here, the Skagit River area, he cleaned that up. And that's where we have a lot of farming. And but before that, it was like full of mercury and lead and cadmium. It was very toxic, and the Hudson River was dead. And he brought it all back, and he sued them for millions and millions and millions of dollars, and won. And but he kept getting these women that would show up to his conferences saying, "Hey, you've got to look at this. This is what happened to our kids. We've done all this research in the scientific research." And it's the mercury, it's the other stuff in the vaccines, it's the aluminum, and these women were very dressed very nicely. They came from good families, they had money, but their kids were really, 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 really sick, devastated, ruined for life. And they were saying, you've got to look at this. If you care about mercury in the environment, you've got to look at vaccines. And he didn't want to do it. And then finally, there was a woman that came to his door, to his home, and she said, I am not leaving until you read all of this research. And she had all this scientific research, and she piled it at his door. And he's like, okay. So she went in there, and she stayed there until he read through all this research. And he was like, holy shit, man. This is like a crime against humanity. So he started to research it himself, and he's really smart, and he's got a great team, and he researched it, and he was like, oh my God, we're poisoning our children. And so he started down this road, and then he hooked up with Del Bigtree, and he got killed in the assassinated in the press, and the whole liberal left turned on him and called him all sorts of names and made all sorts of comments about him and banned him from Facebook and Instagram. And he was just like, when he went and became a presidential nominee, he wasn't allowed to be on the debates, even though he's the smartest guy and he could have debated them on any of this stuff. They wouldn't let him on the debates. So what he said this last year or so, he said that every night he gets on his hands and knees and he prays to God to please help me help these children. And it wasn't working. He was like, he had his following of these women and me and people that got this information. Thank God I got this information in 2014, because those vaccines are killing babies and killing people. And this is before the COVID vaccine. And so we decided not to vaccinate because it's like, well, it's a disaster. And so he Health and Human Services and the CDC and the NIH, our governing bodies of health, they refuse. There's a database called the Vaccine Safety Data Link, and it's got millions of people's medical records, and it's scrubbed clean of identifying information, so you can do studies. And our own NIH will not give this database open source to scientists, because if they did, scientists from around the world could run all the statistics on it. They could run the studies. It wouldn't hurt anybody. This is already people that have been either vaccinated or not vaccinated. And they could run all the studies of testing vaccinated kids versus unvaccinated kids over the 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and see who is healthier, who dies more, who commits more suicide, who's got more autism, who's got more neurodegenerative diseases, who's got more autoimmune conditions. They could, within a week, we're the country of Apple and Microsoft. We could do all these studies within a week and run with millions of people and determine once and for all what the vaccines do. And our NIH will not even release the data. They don't want that study done. All the studies that have been done, there's some small studies with thousands of people in it that doctors have done testing vaccinated versus unvaccinated over 10, 20 years of being in a pediatric practice. And they all say the increase in autism is like, skyrocket if you're vaccinated versus not. Autoimmune conditions, death, all the things that matter, you're way likely to have them happen to you if you get vaccinated. And so, but our own NIH won't do it. So there's Robert F. Kennedy Jr. with this dilemma. He's an ethical guy, and he said he will die with his boots on the ground for this cause. This is the hill he will die on. And so he's got that kind of commitment, and he was getting nowhere really. I mean, he was he had his following, he had us, he had saved a lot of people like me and our family, and but he was blasted in the news, he was banned in the news. Many people think he's just a quack and a dangerous person. And every day he would pray. So he would do his version. I reached out to him and I said, hey, can we work on you energetically to help you with this back years ago? And his team said, thank you, but no, just pray for us. So he's a man of faith, and he didn't want to do something he didn't understand. So I respected that. And but every day he was praying and not getting anywhere. And so now, whatever you think of Trump, Trump nominated him to be the head of the entire U.S. Health Department, Health and Human Services, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, and he oversees the NIH and the CDC, and he has he's fired all these people that are killing girls and boys and people. He's fired them all, and he's putting his own people in, and he's doing the studies. He says, we are going to find out what causes this rise in autism and autoimmune conditions. And it's very simple. We have the database, but the point I'm making is, for years, he was just like, this isn't really, really, really working. Yet now he's, who knows what's going to happen over the next 3 years, and then what happens after that. But he's got a window of time to that he's in charge. But he didn't get that dream for years and years and years. He could have quit. He could have said, well, prayer doesn't work. He could have said, well, some of his family hates him and has ostracized him. His Carolyn Kennedy has posted stuff in opinion pieces in the newspapers about how he's a big quack. And but he knows the truth, and he's finally he's in a place where he can make a big difference. So so what I'm saying for us is, like, as I was getting ready for today's session, I'm like, okay, God, come on, man. You know, I've got this dream to do my healing work with more people from around the world, and the runners, and it's working, and it's working slowly, and so it's like, I don't know why God sometimes takes a long time, and I don't know if I'm missing a certain piece, but I was my one little boy, he's going to be a filmmaker someday of horror movies. I just know it. But he loves watching all sorts of stuff. And he telling me, Papa, in medieval times, this is what they used to do to humans. And I'm like, God, why did you tell me that? It's like the most horrific stuff. And so I'm thinking this morning as I was getting ready for the session, I'm like, golly, man, there's a lot of evil people, but we're good. We're the good guys. Come on, God. And so that's where I'm at. And so I did the process that I use in every morning. It's my version of getting on my hands and knees and praying to God. And what I'd like to do is do it for us, and then open it up to see what you guys, if there's something that you're using that's different, or what you think, and just give us some hope that we're on. In fact, we might start with the hope one. Give us hope, because man, Robert Kennedy Jr., when he had his birthday, he was talking to Del Bigtree on highwire.com, which is a great news show. And he was joking to Del Bigtree. He goes, well, you know, the only thing that makes me happy is knowing that they're attacking you even more than me. And so they laughed about that. But it's like, we are the good guys, and we're doing things for the good reasons. So that's my 2 cents. Let's do this first. Let's generate some hope. So without telling you what's it all about, just look at this for 10 seconds. It's useful. It's a homeopathic. It won't hurt anything. It's to generate hope. So we'd look at it for 10 seconds, and then put a thought in your mind. Close your eyes and put a thought in your mind. Hope means letting go of me. I am letting go of me. Now I can feel me. So 10 times to yourself. Hope means letting go of me. I am letting go of me. Now I can feel me. Hope means letting go of me. I am letting go of me. Now I can feel me. And then keep your eyes closed for 30 more seconds. And then go ahead and look at the image for 30 seconds. And this is from a book called Reflection Therapy. It's integrated manual therapy. It's homeopathic doses. So I'll put a link in the chat, and you can let me go grab it. Tom doesn't have it set up all electronic yet, but if you go to imtwellnesscenter.com, you can call the number. It's 860-561-2286. 860-561-2286. Here's their here's where you can get it by sending them a message. Let's see, where's my chat? And I'm going to go look, because sometimes it's on Amazon still used at not too higher price. Sometimes it's at a very, sometimes you just can't find it, but sometimes you can find it. Let's just go see reflection therapy. Giamateo, Sharon and Tom Giamateo. There it is. Let's see if it's available. Oh, good. It's only 18 bucks right now. So I'll put the link for the Amazon thing. It's a great book. You can leave it by your bed and every night do 2 or 3 or do a bunch of them. And there's stuff for letting go of fear and anxieties of all sorts and connecting to more joy. Maybe we'll do the one for joy at the end. So so there's that. And let me get this. Let's see. IMT Wellness Center. I'll get this. I think you can put the phone number in like this. Oh, there it is. Okay. So there's their phone number. There's the Amazon link. There's their website. So really cool stuff. It's helped me a lot over the years. So if you guys are okay with it, I'll do the process unless you want something different. Let me know. This is for everybody here, whatever you want. But we'll go ahead and start. And I'll highlight this as a thing, but it's also in that other link, which I will put in the chat again. And this is so if you go to ralphhavens.com/heal, HEAL, you'll get to that other link and you can look for process 5. And that's what we're going to use today. Here it is. Process 5. Okay, so here we go. And it's highlighted. So so in the Fathom, you can look for the highlight. Okay, so if you would like, you can close your eyes or leave them open. And we'll spend a couple minutes in silence and just go into the body. And notice what you notice. And then I'll say a Qigong chant that just takes us into that space, that stillness space. Head touches sky, feet stand on earth. Body relaxes, mind expands to infinity space. Be respectful externally and quiet internally. Heart is clear and appearance is reverent. Let go of all distracting thoughts. Feel your body inwardly. Entire body is harmonized with Qi. Wan Yan Qi. Wan Yan Ling Zhang. Xin Xiang Su Chen. And we'll just sit in silence and notice what's happening in the body. And you can notice what's happening in your body. You can put a thought in your mind, I wonder what my next thought is going to be. And just look. You could put a thought in your mind of, who am I? Who am I? And just take a look. Just watch. And who is it that's watching? And then we can squeeze the distal end of your right index finger. It takes you out of the subconscious, out of the conscious into the subconscious. So you squeeze the distal end of your right index finger 6 times. And then imagine a white window frame and your right eye is looking through it, and imagine getting everything you want. And then take your right hand and touch or pat your heart 6 times and think very good. And then squeeze the distal end of your right index finger again, a little closer to the joint, but still the distal end 6 times. And you've got a white window frame and your right eye is looking through it. And imagine getting everything you want. What else do you want? What do you want? What clothes are you wearing? What shoes are you wearing? How much money is in your pocket? What are you doing with your life? How do you handle problems? What's the speed that you walk at? And what does that do for you to have all of that? And what's the best part of having that life? And why is that the best part? And then take your right hand and pat your heart 6 times and think very good. And then squeeze the middle segment of your right index finger 6 times. And having all of that, imagine the white window frame, your right eye is looking through it, having all of that as your life, everything you want. What will you do? And who will you be? And then take your right hand and pat your heart 6 times and think very good. And then squeeze the proximal part of your right index finger 6 times. And you've got your white window frame, your right eye is looking through it. Having all of that, what will your life look like? What does your life look like having all of that? See that, feel that. What does it feel like to be you? Having all of that. And take your right hand and heart and pat your heart 6 times and think very good. And then squeeze the distal end of your right index finger 6 times. And white window frame, your right eye is looking through it. If you knew you were going to die in 6 months, that's the middle of February, what would you most want to do? And what would you most want to be? And if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you most want to do? And what would you most want to be? If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you most want to be? And if you had $10 million in your bank account and you didn't have to work another day in your life, what would you most want to do? And what would you most want to be? You had $10 million in your bank account and you didn't have to work another day in your life. What would you most want to be? And then take your right hand and pat your heart 6 times and think very good. And then go in your body and notice what's happening and just be. Notice what's happening in your body. Stay out of your thoughts. Stay in your body. Notice the most intense part. Notice the most intense part of the most intense part. Give it space. Let it breathe. Let it be there. Stay out of your thoughts. Stay in your body. And then you can take your hands and just open and close. Open and close. And keep your attention in your body. When you close, keep your attention in your body. And when you're open, notice the space that all of space occupies in space. And then when you close, notice the space, notice what's happening in your body. And when you open, notice the space that all of space occupies in space. Let go of your thoughts. Notice what's happening in your body. Notice the space that all the space occupies in space. And then think about, what do you appreciate? Who do you appreciate? What do you appreciate? And then bring your hands around the front and bring all that energy, all that chi energy into your belly button. For women, the right hand first. For men, the left hand first. And just imagine like a little pebble in your head and just let it fall into the space between your belly button and your low back on 3, 2, 1. And then go to the feeling of something that brings you great joy. And this will be a highlight link. I'll put it in special in the portal as a highlight link. I think you might even be able to download it, but you'll have the link. And the next part is something that you can do with a journal. And we're going to go through 5 parts to see what could be slowing you down or standing in your way or stopping you. And I'm going to describe it as one thing that might push some buttons. It pushed buttons yesterday in the once a month group. So sometimes that's useful. But I was scrolling through stuff and I saw a 1-minute post from Tom Cruise, and something made me think, you know what, I'm going to listen to Tom Cruise for 1 minute. And they were asking him, how does he do what he does? Like, how does he get a life like this? And, you know, he does most of his own stunts on these crazy movies he's in. How do you do all the stunts? And there was one time that he wanted to do one stunt, and it was really, really dangerous. And the stunt coordinator guy, his coach, stunt coordinator guy said, you can't do this. This is too dangerous. So what he did was he fired him, and he got a different stunt coordinator, and then he learned how to do it, and he did the stunt. And they were asking him, well, how do you do what you do? How do you live this life of getting what you want? And he says, well, it's really simple. He writes his dream down, and then he writes down all the things he needs to do to make it happen. And then he does them. Isn't that simple? And so, of course, some of the things could be this meditation. Some of the things could be some very physical things in the real world, but that was a pretty cool thing. What do you want? Write it down. And then how do you get it? And write down all the things that need to happen to make it happen. And then go do it. And so that's what this next section is about. We just went through your vision. Like, what do you want? So that's a very important part, to know what you want and to feel it and to pray and do energetic healing and whatever it is that connects you up with what do you want? Why do you want it? What would that do for you? Why that and not something else? So number one is your vision, getting really clear on what do you want. Number two is what are your skills that you need to make that happen? Do you need more skills? And you could list them out. Well, I need to know how to do this or do that. You know, whatever the thing is, what are the skills needed to do it? And maybe there's skills that are needed, but somebody else has the skills and you just need to hire them or get them to do certain skills. So what are the skills? Number two. Of course, then you got to go do it. You know, get the skills or get the people that have the skills. And then number three is what's the plan? What's the strategy? What's the framework that needs to be put in place? Like, how many people do you have to go meet? How do you learn that skill? How do you reach those people? How do you do the thing you want? So what's the plan? And you write down the plan, every bit about it. And then, of course, then you go do the plan. So we got the vision, we got skills, we have the plan. Next part is the environment. So your physical environment is where, how can you be in this environment that can make this happen? Some of it might be an online environment, some of it might be a physical environment. One of my friends my little boy wants a dog, and he's like, well, what you can do is go to the Humane Society and tell them that you want to walk the dogs for a couple of weeks. They'll love it. And just come in, bring them some treats, and have your little boy go walk the dogs for 2 weeks and see if he really wants a dog. And so it's like the environment is like putting him in the space with all those dogs could be part of the plan. What's the environment? Could be people. Like, how do you put yourself around the people that can make your dream come true? Do you have to be in a different place? Do you have to reach out to somebody? Do you have to take a chance? Do you have to be bold? How do you put yourself in the environment? And how do you put yourself around the people that can make this happen? So we've got your vision, we got the skills that are needed, we got the plan, the strategy, we got the environment, the people, the place. And then the fifth part is the inner game. And that's what we do here. What's in the way of that? Any kind of self-doubt, self-worth, self-hatred, the past, the way you were treated as a child, anxieties, fears, procrastination, perfectionism, irritations, overwhelm, and whatever that is. And then we go in and we poke the bear, just think about the problems. And then we do this peace process. So now we'll do that for a moment. What's happening in your body? Stay out of your thoughts. Stay in your body. Notice the most intense part. Notice the most intense part of the most intense part. That's right. That's right. And just take your finger and just lightly touch it if it's easy to touch, and just follow it. And as you follow it, with the other hand, lightly touch the very top of your breastbone. Super light, like you're touching a butterfly. And super light, bring that touch up towards the top of your head a little bit. As you take the other hand and follow the most intense part. The most intense part. Stay out of your thoughts. Stay in your body. That's right. And the last part I'm getting today is to go help people, to be interested in people, and interested in what they want, and interested in their problems, and then go help them get it, help them solve it. Total perfected essence. Everything you want. And then I think I'm going to do a different one to end this one for today. The secret of matrix energetics is to live in joy. So look at this one for 10 seconds. This is to feel joy. And then close your eyes and put a thought in your mind. Actually, let me start this over. When you do this, purse your lips, tighten your lips really tight for 10 seconds. And then keep your lips pursed and put a thought in your mind. I love my lips. What do my lips feel like when they are not pursed? So I love my lips. What do my lips feel like when they are not pursed? 10 times. And then smile wider and wider and wider for 10 seconds. And then go ahead and look at the image for 10 seconds. I mean, for 30 seconds. Okay. And I'll click end highlight for that one. So that'll be a special extra highlight. I'm glad I did that one as an extra highlight. So let me know how you feel, what you think. Am I missing some part to help us get what we want? And of course, there's physical healing. It's always fun. Find a way to come to Bellingham and I'll work on you with my hands, which I love doing. Very powerful. How are you guys doing?
Hey, Ralph,
Hey, Ilya.
I just have my 2 cents to put in there if you want.
I do. Yes, I'm like looking.
Okay, super. So according to the law of attraction, when we are focused on what we want, that tracks what we want. However, if we are focused on what we want, but at the same time seeing the lack of evidence of it, and that creates a sensation or contraction in our body, then that's what we will get more of. Because the universe listens to your thoughts, but it also listens and senses your vibration, your frequency that you're emitting. So if you're constantly focusing on, it's not here yet, it's not here yet, I want this, but it's not here yet, oh, and then you're frustrated and you're annoyed, that's what you're going to be emitting. That's the frequency that you're going to be emitting. And that's what the universe, the you know, is picking up.
Maybe that's why it moves slower, like even for RFK, you know, he was really determined, but he was seeing not a lot of progress.
Well, that's it. And he, you know, as he was doing his research, he was learning, and all of the destruction and the horrific evidence. So I don't know if he's familiar with the whole Ho'oponopono, but that is a great prayer for, as we're doing our, we'll call it research, you know, because as we're learning what we don't want and what we do want, that we'll call it our research, you know, life experiences bring us to that. Then we have to erase the memories and all the data that that comes up when we think about what we do want, you know. And is it coming from a place of, because when you're like, I'm just going to use the example of envy, like jealousy. When you see something that you really like right now, I'm in this beautiful home. It's like she decorated it for me, or the house is set up for me, because I just love the whole vibe here. Now, am I looking around going, come she has this? Oh, I want this, you know? No, I'm like, damn, this is a great visual. This is exactly what I would do, you know, if I was decorating my house. And I'm just like really enjoying that, like really like, okay, it's under renovations. There's a guy working in the background. My point is that if you're coming from a place of joy, if you're coming from a place of yes, that's good. Because if you're envious, by the way, it's because you're afraid that you can't get it yourself, that you can't have this yourself. That's where envy and jealousy comes, because it's just information.
Yeah.
So do Ho'oponopono. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. Releasing all of the fear, all of the data, all of the memories, and then allowing the joy to come through to really appreciate it already here. Like it's already. So for me, I'm walking around going, damn, this already exists. That's great.
That's so good. Yeah, I walk around in the most beautiful place on earth. I'm looking at it right now. So it's like, yeah, that's good. It reminds me of that Bible verse too, that seems so confusing, that Jesus said something about, for those that that have, even more will be given to them. I'm paraphrasing it. For those that have, even more will be given. And for those that don't have, even that will be taken away.
Well,
it's like, God, it sounds so mean, but it's kind of that thing, like, for those that have that joy, that gratitude, that appreciation that already are there, they're going to get even more. And for those that are looking at the negative part of the whole thing, well, they're going to get even more of that.
Exactly.
Isn't that wild? Well, thank you. Well, I put that in there. I love you. Please forgive me. I thank you. I'm sorry. It doesn't have to be any certain order, right?
No.
Okay. Well, that feels really good.
Hey, Ralph, I had something too about matrix energetics. I think the thing that I love the most about matrix energetics is the absolute joy. Like,
I know
the infinite possibilities and to step outside of your own mind. And I think the two phrases, I'm willing and notice what you notice, those are so powerful. They're so powerful. And I love science and spirituality, and the way that science and religion, or science and spirituality, they go hand in hand. and there's no separation. I was so happy and so high in those,
I know.
there's something about it that even if you can't make it work to manifest certain things, there's principles in there that are so freeing, and joyful.
I know, it was so fun. It really was to be like a child. I mean, you got
Yeah.
to go in there and just like it was when you were getting ready for class, it's like, oh my God, this is going to be so fun. And it was just insanely fun. It was
Yeah.
insanely fun, like a little kid having insane fun. That's Matrix. And
Yeah.
and then you go play in that space, and that's how we saw stuff go away like that. I mean, we all have these crazy cool miracles that are like beyond belief.
I wonder also if it was partly the whole 500 people would be
I
there.
think it was. I think it was because I had sessions from Richard and Justice and Reggie and Melissa Joy one-on-one, and yeah, and I've also been on stage with them and gotten treatment, sessions with 500 people in the space. And I got to say, the ones in the session with 500 people were way more powerful.
Yeah, they were. And that I just remember, um, yeah, it must be just maybe that's something to think about. Like
I
how do you
know.
create that environment? And like,
I
the
know.
people that come to this group every morning, we may not be having quote unquote miracles, but it sets you up to experience your life differently and have an open heart every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just
I know. Well, that's what I want. Like one of the things I want is for this group to have 1,000 people in it, and
yeah,
doing this every day, and the once a month group 1,000 people, and all these people that are that know law of attraction works and know Eckhart Tolle stuff works, and read the Matrix books and even took the classes, and they know this is true, um, and yet they haven't experienced stuff. If they just knew we were here doing this, I think the more the merrier, it'd be so cool. You just pop into our field and stuff happens. And if when we those classes were like all these, imagine like he said that they would before the classes they would just turn up the rock and roll music and they would dance around, him and his family, Justice and Nate and Melissa and Reggie, and before that done, they would just absolutely go crazy. And then and that's how they set up the space. They didn't like pray and do matrix, and they just went insane. And then they opened the doors, and then everybody came in all excited to like play. And then he talked about who knows what, and then he put one person on stage, and of course they're going to like have a massive experience. There's 500 people in absolute ecstasy.
and Richard, he was very deeply spiritual and had a really strong spiritual practice, and he read physics all the time.
Yeah.
And
And he also read and watched comic books and science fiction.
right.
He said that was a very big key for him, was
Yeah.
watch lots of stuff that's impossible. He didn't say it that way, but basically science fiction and comic books. And because isn't it wild how we think, oh, I got to do this integrative manual therapy technique to the liver, or I can do something insane that's just in a movie I saw, and they both work.
Yeah.
Sometimes that one works better. It's
Right.
like,
To get you out of the mindset of it has to be like this.
yeah,
Challenge yourself. Think that things that are impossible could happen.
yeah. So, Yoel, I'm glad you're here. Donna, Darian, all of us, we're on a path, my people.
And really the that it's okay to be you. That's what I really
Yeah,
absolute freedom to be yourself. And I don't know why that would come across through that, but just the possibilities and just the way he said, "Well, just go try it." It's like, oh,
let's go try it. Yeah. Well, let's go do some fun stuff out there today. Report in. Let me know. What is today? Monday. So
Monday.
Today
Today is Monday.
Yeah.
All right, I'll see you tomorrow.
10 o'clock tomorrow with Leslie, and we're gonna just good job, you guys. I'll put this in the portal right now. I think I'm behind a couple of sessions.
Thank you.
But I'll put it in the portal. Thank you.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Bye, you guys.
Here, guys. See you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Just
Thank you.
dissolve the box.
Thank you for being here.